Hi everyone, my name is Eli Chervenkova and my presentation is on mindfulness for better sleep quality and health. After completing the challenge, you will be able to improve your sleep quality, and this includes falling asleep faster, staying asleep, and feeling more rested. To feel more in control of your feelings and emotions that rise up during the day, to be more mindful as you go through daily activities, and to decrease overall stress and anxiety. A little background information for why I chose this topic. I struggle staying consistent with a habit, and I know that meditation helps not only my sleep, but my overall anxiety. So I wanted to further research what others do for better sleep, because when I go to bed, I usually have a lot of thoughts running through my mind, as well as some kind of anxiety about what happened during the day. This leads to me having a hard time falling asleep. Sometimes I wake up during the night. Then it's difficult for me to fall back asleep because, again, I have too many thoughts in my mind. This results in not getting enough hours of sleep and then having continuous anxiety throughout the day, also about not being able to sleep. And this has been affecting both my mental and physical health. Here are the interview questions I asked. How well do you sleep at night? How well do you fall asleep at night? What prevents you, if anything, from falling asleep? Have you ever done anything to help your sleep quality? Do you struggle with anxiety? Have you ever journaled or meditated? And are you willing to try a 5-minute meditation or journaling before you go to bed to see if your sleep quality improves or changes? Here are some common interview responses to the first question: how well do you sleep at night? A lot of people said pretty well for the most part. However, if they're mentally tired, they can't get more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Some said that some nights are definitely better than others. If they wake up in the middle of the night, it is difficult for them to fall back asleep. And sometimes they have a hard time falling asleep, but they sleep really well if there's no distractions. Another question I asked was, what prevents you, if anything, from falling asleep? And the majority of people said either staying up to watch a show or being on their phone, physical distractions like noise or a baby crying, and then also having too much caffeine during the day. When I asked the question, do you struggle with anxiety? I was very surprised that every single person said yes, or sometimes yes, or occasionally, but yes was definitely the very first word that they all said. And finally, when I asked if they were willing to try a 5-minute meditation and journaling before bed, most people said yes. Some said they were willing to try, and some said yes to meditation, but definitely not journaling, which I thought was really interesting. In a Harvard research study on mindful meditation done in 2018, used functional magnetic resonance imaging on the amygdala part of the brain. The participants were asked to focus on their breathing as well as their heartbeats. And what they saw was that the wave activity when they weren't meditating and doing daily activities mimicked the same wavelengths to when they were meditating. And something interesting that happened was after the 8 weeks, they were asked to say out loud negative self-talk or criticism, and they were unaffected and were able to stay calm and relaxed instead of having an intense physical response. Next, I wanted to research how journaling can reduce anxiety and stress, and I was surprised to find that many people have been open about starting a journal in the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic in 2020. and it has helped them tremendously. There was a study done in 2006, a little sooner, before the pandemic, on a total of 100 young adults that were asked to spend 15 minutes journaling every day. Out of the 100 participants, 81 journaled about their feelings. However, only 61 of them were comfortable talking about their feelings. And I thought this was really interesting because a lot of the people that I interviewed either said they didn't like to journal, or when I asked them if they were willing to meditate and journal, they said yes to meditation, but no to journaling. And this totally makes sense because it is difficult to confront your emotions. However, the reason why journaling is so powerful is that it forces you to organize your experiences into a sequence. So when you write down, this happened first and then this happened, and then you kind of spell out the steps of the event and how you felt, you can better analyze it, specifically the cause and effect, and then better manage your emotional response to the event. I also found out that writing to-do lists and setting priorities before you go to bed is another form of mindful journaling, which kind of decreases your stress and is also proven to help you better fall asleep. I was also curious to see other ways to improve sleep, and I found that eliminating the fixation on going back to sleep, but rather making relaxation the goal, is one of the best ways to fall back asleep when you wake up in the middle of the night. Also, if you're having trouble falling asleep, doing a body scan, so starting from the top of your body and then relaxing each part as you scan your awareness down to your toes. This is something that I started to implement, and it has definitely helped. Some people take melatonin, vitamin D, and amino acid supplementation to help fall back asleep, and research supported this. All the other supplementations, even magnesium, has not shown significant improvements in sleep. Also, eliminating alcohol and caffeine, as well as refined sugars and carbohydrates. But the best way to improve sleep is to be mindful by doing body scans, meditation, deep breathing, and focusing on relaxation rather than how many hours you slept. And just to summarize, what I found was needed to help improve sleep is having a good environment with no distractions, being mindful of your thoughts by jotting them down, doing a body scan, as well as some deep breathing, and optional but recommended is melatonin, vitamin D, and amino acid supplementation. And now for the social media challenge. The resource that I have created is a 30-day Instagram challenge. Instagram is a platform that allows for community support and advice. I am planning to first inform the audience of why we're doing this challenge and supporting that with the research that I have done. I will also provide a chart to screenshot and to follow along, as well as a daily reminder post. This is the chart that I will be providing in the beginning of the challenge for everyone to follow along. And this chart was similar to the one that I used when I was trying to create this habit. So we're going to do each day in this column, they're going to answer yes or no to if they journaled and meditated, as well as how they felt before and after both journaling and meditating. Did they feel less stressed? And then how well did they fall asleep after journaling and meditation? And this is just an example of the first day. After completing the challenge, here are some things to think about. First is to see what works and what didn't work for you. Will you make this a challenge? Will you make this challenge into a habit? Did your sleep improve? How did you feel during the day? And how can you apply mindfulness in day-to-day life? And these are my references. Thank you, everyone.